Hi there, my name's Mike Williams and this is my model of Bismarck in 1/100 scale. It's basically a big Etch kit, although it's scratch built. It's all drawn on CAD and then it's sent away and the parts come back, Etch parts such as these, and then these are cut out and soldered together to produce what I've got so far. I've been working on it for 3 years now. I started it on the 25th of May 2016, which was the 75th anniversary of the sinking of Hood. And it's not the first model of Bismarck I've built, even in this scale, although other efforts that I did were in wood and plastic and never got round to finishing them, moved houses and all the rest of it. So this is the first time I've actually sort of got to the medium of building it in metal, which I think is a nice nice medium to work with. It's my favourite method of doing it. I've been doing metal models for 30 odd years now, so this is just a culmination of me doing that sort of thing. The whole thing at the moment consists of about 25 etching tools of various shapes and sizes to produce all the detail that's on there, and it's all basically comes as a flat etch. That's the decking for one of those boats, and then it's soldered together. The holes are strips of metal, and then it's all filled with solder, filed down to shape, etc. The main hull is going to be done exactly the same way, although the plating is slightly different. But eventually it'll be painted and be a fully working model. I don't really think that there is one particular part that has been difficult to build. The only bits that I didn't want to attempt, simply because of the trying to produce flat etch into particular shapes, because they're quite small, with these dome rangefinders which were 3D printed. It's the only bit on it that I haven't built. I think the most complicated part of it as such was probably around the funnel. That was quite intricate to be able to do. It's quite a detailed section of it, but most of it, I mean, once it's etched, the main thing is drawing it. I mean, the drawing probably takes longer to do than the actual building of it itself. You can build it quite quickly. I mean, I don't really think there are certain bits on it that I've got wrong. This piece of decking, for instance, which I've done some testing for painting, is that bit of decking there, but I got some of the measurements of this wrong, so I had to re-etch it, and then the other side is a mirror image of that, so I got that one right first before I produced the other one. But no, I mean, most of it is relatively simple to do. If you think about it, it's just a series of smaller models all added together. It's a bit like a model rail layout where you've got locomotives, coaches, wagons, buildings, all the rest of it. It's exactly the same sort of method of doing it as that, and we treat each bit of it the same. When it's eventually finished, it'll all come apart and be cleaned up and painted. It all comes apart. It's all bolted together. That comes off there, so it's relatively simple to take apart. And while I'm working on it as well, it gets to stages where I have to take it apart in order to do it and to add various bits and pieces to it. Things like the planes, you know, they're starting to get a little bit damaged now because I've dropped them a couple of times, sort of thing. But they're all scratch built. And again, I was going to 3D print these, but in the end, I've just made it out of folded up etch and done it that way. But there's still a few pieces to finish off on that. Eventually, the hull itself will split in half to makes it easier to transport, and it'll have a watertight bulkhead at each end, and each section of the hull will be tested before I move on to the next section. These, if they weren't too heavy, these would float, but they are a little bit too heavy for its displacement. The whole thing that you see here at the moment weighs just under 20 kilograms. The finished weight is going to be around about 30 kilograms by the time I've finished off all the bits and pieces of the hull and everything, and I've got 50 kilograms of displacement. So there will be quite a bit of ballast still to go back into it. So, as I say, I've been working on it now for 3 years. If you want to see what I do, my progress as I do it, I have a Facebook site, the 100 Bismark Project. If you want to go on that, just send me a request and I'll sign you in, and you'll be able to see it from the conception 3 years ago as I've built it, and each component that I've built, warts and all. I don't sort of hide anything. When I make a mistake, I say I've made a mistake and this is how I've rectified it. So there's a lot more work to do on it yet, so over the next 2 years, you'll see it's progressed from there.